Hello, this is Shanker, and today I'm making a video on Ketu and the nakshatras which it rules and how you can use it in predictive astrology. That is very important. So we have three nakshatras which are ruled by Ketu: Ashwini nakshatra, Magha nakshatra, and Mula nakshatra. Ashwini is in Aries, Magh is in Leo, and the Mool nakshatra is in Sagittarius. So these are the three nakshatras which are ruled by Ketu, and depending upon and the planets which are placed within these degrees, and in most of the cases it would, in all the cases it will be 0 to 13.2 degrees of Aries, the first 13.2 degrees of Leo, and the first 13 to 13.2 degrees of Sagittarius. So that is the area which is ruled by Ketu. Ketu rules this thing. Generally what we do is we look at Ketu and start analyzing Ketu. But let us understand what Ketu is. Ketu is all about a journey in your life. It starts with Aries, goes to Leo, and then makes you to understand what life is in Sagittarius. And that is what these nakshatras depict. So let us understand what Ketu is. Ketu is a planet which actually governs your DNA. It is your DNA. That is what you are born with. The karmas you are born with, good, bad, ugly, whatever they are. The DNA, the decoding of your DNA, the way you will react, the way you will get things in this life, which is coded inside. There is a code with which you come with, basically masses of energy, and energy doesn't get destroyed. We travel from one place to the other, one body to the other. That is what I believe, and that's how things happen. So so Ketu is that energy, that DNA. But should understand that Ketu is a planet which is dreaded, which is supposed to be said it is negative, which is absolutely inappropriate, because Ketu is the planet which actually gives you the power to, if strong, if well placed, if properly aspected, leave those things for the moment. Then Ketu is a planet which actually can, be a dhwaj. It's like a flag. The flag which was on the top of Sri Krishna's chariot, where Arjun was also there, and Sri Krishna drove the chariot of Arjun. The flag which has Hanuman, Kante, and the flag which is there, which had Hanuman there, that flag is represented by Ketu. So Ketu is a very important planet, at least for all issues in terms of your professional growth, etc. Now let us understand the three nakshatras which are ruled by Ketu, because that is very important. Because the influence of Ketu on the planet, which is placed in the nakshatra of Ketu, is of paramount importance. Now, if in the nakshatra of Ashwini you have planets and Ketu is the ruler, briefly, because we don't have time and these are discussions which can go on for hours, my idea is to give you a pointer of things so that then you can research on it. Ketu in Ashwini. Ashwini nakshatra is basically depicted by a horse. So it's a nakshatra which works very fast. It's like a horse. It starts things very quickly. It has got the speed. It has got the grace. Those positive qualities which are depicted by a horse are there. It is also said to be ruled by the Ashwini Kumars. And the Ashwini Kumars, the basic thing which they had great knowledge about medicines. They had great knowledge about even they had the power of nearly getting a person back to life. So Ketu represents in Ashwini medicines. So these are two very important things which Ketu represents in Ashwini Nakshatra. It is action oriented, it is fast, and it also deals with the area of medicines. When we come to Magha Nakshatra, that is in the sign of Sun, there Ketu actually rules your uh, ancestors. It is a place where Ketu can provide you with a throne. It is a place where Ketu can give you political powers, where this nakshatra, the Magh nakshatra, which is ruled by Ketu, can give you political powers. Also, in this nakshatra, Ketu has the power of um connecting you with the person's beyond your realm. I mean, in nutshell, you can say that you are, if in this planets, in this Magh nakshatra, you get the blessings of energies which are not seen. There are energies which will help you, or you can say your intuition power becomes very high, and it can put you uh, towards the government, the administrative, and the political part. Now let's see Ketu. This is very brief. These are points. There are mythological stories which can be decoded and told, and how this comes in. Now, when we talk about Ketu in Sagittarius, where it rules the Moola nakshatra, it is again, it's a dreaded nakshatra. People say that Mool is ruled by the deity which rules Moola nakshatra is a Nriti, the goddess of death, and this goddess was born uh, out of the union of adharm and ahimsa. I mean, violence and negativity. Out of violence and negativity, uh, this deity was born. But let us understand, what does this mean? I mean, Lord Krishna says that whenever there is adharma, I come in to take care of issues. So this part of the nakshatra, Moola nakshatra, is all about things which are under the earth. Under the earth means what you are coming with in this life. Are you coming with the energies of destruction? Are you coming with the energies of violence? Are you coming with the energy of creating death? Or are you coming with energies of a great negativity? Because here it also represents the root which is under the earth, and people with a Moola nakshatra are all about untying the roots. So here Ketu, here in this nakshatra, the biggest thing which I have seen with my experiences, that people are very fast on actions. Once they decide a thing they have to do it, they will do it, and they are very quick at doing it. Now, this Moola nakshatra actually has produced, so it was supposed to be the nakshatra of Ravan and Kans. I mean, Ravan and Kans both had Moola nakshatra. And the importance of this nakshatra is that, as far as people debunk it, but in Kali Yuga, in today's thing, it is a nakshatra where it produces the people who do something which is spectacular, who invent, who create large business enterprises, who create large political enterprises. Now, also remember, when we talk about construction, there can be no construction without destruction. That is, please understand this. This is astrology. You have to understand it in present context. So there is no destruction without construction. So people in Mool Nakshatra are actually completing their soul, the energy, the soul, how it is migrating and how it moves from Aries to Leo to Sagittarius. It's an inner transformation which happens to the soul. Externally, then they could be, they are very, very successful people if placed well, because if the right planets are placed in this nakshatra and have the energies of Ketu, it actually then makes them to do things which will lay the foundation of better things for tomorrow anyways. This is my thought of Ketu. Ketu is a planet which at all places is ruled by, it's a Brahma nakshatra. It is ruled by Prajapati, Brahma, the creator. So it is not anywhere related to destruction, but it is related to creation in all the three signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. In fact, my own view is that I consider Ketu to be exalted at around 3 degrees in Sagittarius. That is the exaltation point of Ketu, and any planet which is in about 3 to 4 degrees of Sagittarius will give the results, greater results of Ketu. And here I have briefly tried to explain that Mool Nakshatra does not mean negativity. It means, it could mean destruction for better creation. It could mean certain things which, which are left, which you have to do. It will also mean certain things within you, you wanted to do, they are bundled up, you want to unbundle. And even in this nakshatra, it is extremely good for medical and medicines. So Ketu has got a property, different properties in Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. In Aries, it's all about action. In Leo, it is all about administration and power. And in Sagittarius, it is all about, again, creation, destruction, creation, which can lead to destruction, or destruction which can lead to creation, and the fulfillment of your soul cycle. It is the DNA. It is a place which gives you a very exalted, if placed well, it gives you an exalted position. Now let me come to the predictive astrology part of it, which is the main part of the horoscope, which I want to tell you now. If planets which are placed in, let's say, Ashwini, will have the propensity of how Ketu functions. So what you have to always see is, suppose you have, let's say, Jupiter placed in Aries, Leo or Sagittarius. The nakshatra ruled is Ketu. So you have to see how Ketu is, in which house Ketu is placed. Now after seeing in which house Ketu is placed, also look at the Lord of that nakshatra, where Ketu is placed as a depositor of, let us say, Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. I'm assuming, let's say, Jupiter is in Aries in Ashwini nakshatra. So let us see where then Ketu is placed and what will be the impact of that Ketu. So you have, suppose Ketu is placed in Pushya nakshatra in Cancer. So then Ketu will have the influence of Saturn there, right? And Jupiter will function with the influence. Therefore, Jupiter as a planet will function with the influence of Ketu, which is the lord of nakshatra where it is placed, and Ketu will give the results of the Pushya nakshatra. So that is how you have to see. Ketu will give the results of Pushya nakshatra. The lordship of Pushya nakshatra is Saturn. So there will be an interplay of Ketu. Saturn will operate through Ketu to give the results of Jupiter. I mean, Ketu gets the impact of the nakshatra where it is placed also. So it is, when you look in, normally in astrology, what you do is we give a lot of importance to dispositor. So here also, if it is placed, the planet is placed in Ashwini nakshatra, it will get the background of Ashwini nakshatra, which is quick action, medical field, etc., which I have already explained you. Now Ketu is placed in Pushya nakshatra, which is in Cancer, which is again ruled by Moon and Saturn. So Ketu is getting influenced by Moon and Saturn. Saturn again represents structure, order, discipline. It has got everything to do with diseases, enemies, deaths, longevity, occult sciences. So that is, then Ketu gets more influence with that. So then Jupiter, therefore Jupiter will function in accordance. So that is how you have to see. But assuming Ketu is in Ashwini nakshatra itself, or Ketu is placed in Magha nakshatra and Ketu is placed in Sagittarius, it will give you pure results of Ketu as such, because it is in its own nakshatra. So that is how you have to analyze the impact of planets in nakshatra. Just to repeat, first it will give you the result. It will get the color of the nakshatra and Ketu in Ashwini, and the way I've explained you how Ketu behaves in Ashwini, Magh and in Sagittarius. It's got different methods of functioning when it is in these nakshatras. So you have to understand how it is going to function, and then you have to see where Ketu is placed, and see the nakshatra where Ketu is placed, and that lord would give also get colored. I mean, don't go beyond that. So that is how you have to see. Also, when Jupiter, let's say, is placed in Ashwini nakshatra, you should, and the lord is Ketu, look at the exaltation sign of Ketu, look at the debilitation sign of Ketu. They will have a greater impact. I mean, I believe the exaltation sign for Ketu is Sagittarius, and the debilitation is Mithun. So it will also get influenced by how these signs are placed. Let's say you have Ashwini nakshatra, and then Ketu, I say, is exalted in Sagittarius. So issues of ninth house, and assuming Aries is your, take it as your lagna. You don't have the right time of the horoscope, then this is the best way to analyze the horoscope. Then you have to, then it would be ninth from this thing. So issues pertaining to ninth house would be very important for during the period of that particular planet. I was saying Jupiter. Let's say Jupiter is placed in Ashwini nakshatra in Aries. So then the importance would be of the issues of ninth house, which will be religion, your luck, dharma, travel, and so on and so forth. So many things which are governed by ninth house, they will be prominently good. And the negative aspects will be issues of third house, which would be siblings, your boldness to perhaps take decisions, communication the way it should be. Those are the issues which would get impacted. Also, I believe Ketu, the sign of Ketu, which is the co-ruler of Ketu, is Scorpio. So look at Scorpio. So those results also would get prominent during the dasha time of that planet. So when you have the results, when you have Jupiter placed in Ketu, you will have more impact of the exaltation sign of Ketu, negative impacts of debilitation sign of Ketu, and take into consideration the own house. Here, I believe it is co-ruled, Ketu is co-ruled by Scorpio. So then you will get an idea of what that particular planet will behave as. So this is how you have to analyze the planets in various nakshatra. Here I have taken Ashwini, Magh, and Mool. So you have to keep on seeing it in this way. The planets in a sign is not important. If you have a planet in Aries, look where it is placed. Here I was talking about Ketu. Suppose is it in Ashwini nakshatra, you have to see the Lord where Ketu is placed, and the exaltation, debilitation sign of Ketu, plus the house which Ketu co-rules is Scorpio. How they will have the greatest impact on the. Similarly with Magh, and similarly when it is in Sagittarius. Similarly Magh nakshatra, which is in Leo, and Mool nakshatra, which is in Sagittarius. But never forget, the basic would be the operation of the chakra, the method it will work will depend on what nakshatra is it placed. Ketu will not give the same result everywhere. If people look at Ketu, it is placed in and start talking about it. No, it will get colored by the lordship of the nakshatra. I mean, if Jupiter is in Magh, it will have if it is in Magh nakshatra, that is also ruled by Ketu, but the focus would be more upon administrative control, ego, going ahead, being the winner. If it is in Sagittarius, it would be more action, you think, you act, and the positive and the negative aspects of it. So that is how you have to see planets in the houses and in the nakshatra. I hope this is a very limited point which I am trying to tell, but I hope you would like to apply it and see it how it is. Like these days you will have very soon you'll have, and you're having Saturn transiting in Sagittarius in Mula Nakshatra. So even when you're seeing transit, you have to see how, where Ketu is, and if there is any other planet in your this thing, that will also get energized by the impact of transiting Saturn. So you have to see that also. So that is how you have to see. So don't go into the pure play of placement of planets sign wise. That will not take you anywhere. Take the lord of the nakshatra of that particular planet. So that will have an impact. The planet will have its impact. The nature of nakshatra where it is placed is actually the covering. That is the broad way you will function. And the positive and the negative impact will depend on the placement of Ketu, its exaltation, debilitation and own house. Plus, the nakshatra where Ketu is placed, the lord of that planet will also have its impact. And that impact of all these things will be transmitted through the planet which is placed in that particular nakshatra. Like I kept on explaining about Jupiter. So everything, Jupiter will have the lordship of Ketu. Suppose it is in Ashwini, Mag or in Mula, it will get colored by the outer covering, the outer play, the circle, the area of operation would depend on the characteristic of Ashwini, Mag and Moon, which I have tried to explain you. Then Jupiter will have lordship of Ketu. Where Ketu is placed, that is important. And then where Ketu is placed, again I don't mean the sign. I mean the nakshatra where Ketu is placed, and the lord of that nakshatra will also have an important role. And it is through that lord of that nakshatra where Ketu is placed, with Ketu, the impact will be felt through the planet which is placed in the nakshatra of Ketu. So that is how you have to see, and you can very clearly, by just looking at the exaltation, debilitation sign of Ketu, get a very broad idea of what is going to be the play, and the lord of the ruler of co-ruler of the house of Ketu, which is, let's say, it is Scorpio. In my experience, it is Scorpio. So you will get a broad idea of what is going to happen, and then over and above that, see where Ketu is deposited, and what is the lord of where the nakshatra where Ketu, what is the lord of that planet, and how is it impacting you with respect to the planet which is placed in that particular nakshatra. Let's say that was Jupiter. So that is how you have to see. Like example was, assuming Jupiter is placed in Ashwini nakshatra, again to repeat, lord is Ketu. Ketu is placed in Pushya nakshatra. Pushya nakshatra is, the lord is Saturn. So Saturn and Ketu will impact or will provide the energy for the Jupiter to function, because they are the, it's the car, the petrol which the car will get is a mixture of Ketu and Saturn, and that will energize Jupiter. And then you have to see the lordships of Ketu, but that is broad. If you are looking at the whole, trying to analyze the dasha of Jupiter, but Jupiter will then function that way. So that is how you have to see. Also consider the sign which it is in. If it is Aries, it is Mars, it is Sun, Sagittarius, it is Jupiter. But that is again the broadest part of it. That will also have an impact. So then you have to understand how the planet will play, what are the areas which it will affect, and how will it impact. Also see the relationship between Jupiter and, suppose Jupiter was placed in Ashwini or in Mag or in let's say Mool, you have to also see the relationship between Jupiter and its depositor Ketu. If the relationship is 6, 8 and 12, it is not good. It will create struggles and negative energies which you have to see. So that is very important to see. If it is placed 1, 5 and 9 between each other, excellent. So that is how you have to understand, and with experience you would start 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 predicting also. But first is important is to understand uh, the nakshatras, understand the lordship of the nakshatras, how the lords function for each nakshatra, if they are placed, where it is placed, how that lord functions or the deity functions, and then interplay of all this will give you how this person who is placed there, who is sitting in that house, will walk. So, the walking of that person, whether it will be fast or the speed, it will be negative, etc., then, and that person means that planet. So it's very interesting. Try do it and come back to me. I mean, you can always contact me at my email ID connectingminds@gmail.com. You can also look at my site. I do astrology purely for the last 35-40 years as a hobby, and it's a passion research for me. Um, I do not have the right, the the recording, etc., to do it for a longer time. So I just do it on the YouTube. I'm sure you'll pardon me for the light and the sound, etc., which I do not have a professional setup. So I'm sure you'd like this video, and do put your comments and there for any queries. Thanks. Bye for now.